Welcome back. This is Andrew Beach, branding dynamo and executive career coach. I teach self-education. And today, the topic that's come up most frequently on FAQ Friday is how do I add projects to my LinkedIn profile? Sometimes this originates from clients I'm coaching that have very detailed 4- and 5-page resumes because they want to document anything and everything they've ever done. Not the case for resume. Resume is meant to be a summary. That is the root of the word résumer. It's French for to sum up, okay? So the nice thing about LinkedIn is there's a lot of areas where you can add content freely and openly, okay? So today is more going to be a tutorial, and then we'll follow that up with question and answer. So if you have any questions at all and want me to answer those on any topic, LinkedIn, career coaching, networking, interviewing, resume, anything like that, please go ahead and leave it in the live chat and I'll be happy to do my best to answer it. If you're watching this on replay, I will actually monitor the comments. So go ahead and leave those questions anyways, and I will be sure to do my best to answer those as quickly as possible, okay? So let's jump in. I'm gonna go ahead and share my desktop and see if we can't make this actually work and get us some LinkedIn action going on and help you guys walk through how to add projects to your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so I have my LinkedIn page up. Well, actually just the LinkedIn browser. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my desktop now, if you don't mind. Here we go, Sherry, and there we are, okay? So here's my LinkedIn desktop. Now, LinkedIn has really changed and upped their game in terms of their user interface. And it was really hard for me to get a grasp of that at first, but now I'm very attuned to what they're trying to accomplish. Now, recognize that when you want to add content to your profile, everybody at the top of their profile has something that would be considered me. That's where all your profile stuff resides, okay? So you have a number of different settings here that you can take advantage of, including privacy and posting activity, etc., as well as any upgraded premium services that you have. Now, in my case, I do have premium. However, I don't think that's for everybody. It works for me. And unless you're going to be doing a bunch of business through the LinkedIn platform, I would not recommend getting the upgrade just for job seeker or for business. But if you're going to go for it, go for it. I mean, go for, this is a separate discussion maybe, Sales Navigator or the recruiting if you're going to be doing recruiting on the platform, okay? In this case, we're just looking to add stuff to our profile. So I'm going to go in and view my profile. And LinkedIn, in its ultimate wisdom, does not make it very intuitive on how you're supposed to add sections to your profile. Now, by default, the project section does not show up here. So we actually have to go to add new profile section, okay? In this case, it's also not very clear how to add that. Well, it falls under a category called accomplishments. And there is a bunch, I mean a lot, of different categories and things you can add to your profile. Organizations you belong to, languages, tests, and your scores, patents, awards. Yep, there it is. Projects. Add compelling projects to demonstrate your experience. Now, the good news is when you add projects to your profile, it's not going to take up important real estate inside of your experience section, which needs to be very brief and really to the point as to the value you bring to the audience that's reading it, okay? So we can now take our projects and catalog them here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna add a project to my profile. The cool part is I did recently a LinkedIn branding symposium presentation. And that was, I'm gonna pick a single date, that was this year, okay, 2017. And I did that in conjunction with another individual that's one of my colleagues. So I'm going to go ahead and you can actually tag contributors to your project. Okay, in this particular case, I'll tag Mary Lou She is one of my colleagues. And the presentation we did was taking an HR perspective, which Mary Lou brought, and a sales, marketing, branding perspective, which I brought to the conversation. And so it was a really good back and forth, giving different perspectives to key clients at our company. Now, I get to pick which which role, application, occupation, that I was using that's on my profile. Could have been at school, could have been one of my previous roles, but let's just select the one that it applies to. Now, if there was actually an outcome to my project, as in a product was created, or a new service was offered, or it had an impact on the community or the company, and there was a press release issued, go ahead and leave a link to a URL that could contain video, a copy of maybe an executive summary of the project plan that you uploaded to SlideShare, or any number of multimedia links that you want to take advantage of. In this case, I don't have one. And so down here, as I indicated, I'm just going to say, hey, collaborated with colleagues to create a dichotomy. Let's see. I may not be good at spelling, but thankfully, the Chrome browser is, okay? Presentation representing perspectives from HR, recruitment, and marketing, branding, to key client representatives, key client stakeholders. Okay, and I can go into more detail on the scope, the deliverables, the actions I took, and the different products and services that we offered. In this case, it was a LinkedIn and social media presentation with professional, not progressional, professional thoughts and ideas on personal branding for for executives. Okay, good. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now it's like, okay, I saved it to my profile, but where is it? Okay, so when you scroll down your profile, you'll notice there's a new section down at the bottom called accomplishments. Okay, and it's literally at the bottom. So here's the section called accomplishments that if it's already here, you can also add different sections here. So I could add another project from here without having to add the profile section up here. So there's two ways to do that. If this section isn't already here because you haven't filled out one of these categories, then you have to use the blue bar. Okay, so now I see a project that shows up here. It shows what I did, when I did it, and all the content and the contributors. Okay, now this is a good reminder that if we did a key project, that maybe we should reach out to those people that we actually impacted or worked with to get connected on LinkedIn if we're already not connected to them, and to offer them a recommendation and endorsement for their work on this particular project. Okay, so now we have a project on our profile. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my desktop and see if there's any questions in the chat that I can help answer. Okay, anybody out there have a question? Okay, so one of the questions I got today was really interesting. It had to do, I was doing a presentation on LinkedIn, kind of a sad story. We have a contract to deliver services. I don't have a contract, but I'm a contract consultant delivering LinkedIn and social media for job search for the state of Oregon WorkSource. And so we had an interesting conversation this morning that I thought meant a lot to some of the people in the room. And that was, you know, social media is an interesting communication tool or basket of tools. And we had a really good discussion about knowing which social media platform to actually be on. And a lot of the people in the room were professionals or managers, so they really understood the value and importance of being on LinkedIn. But there were a couple of people in the room that were not what we would consider white collar professional, IT, HR, those kind of people. And they were more in the, hourly wage category, and their particular industries and job titles were not well represented on LinkedIn. And so we had to really say that what we teach is good for LinkedIn, but it also provides you a perspective for other platforms. And so if your target audience is on Facebook, then maybe you should do and spend your time on Facebook trying to connect with people that are potential hiring managers or valuable connections on Facebook. If your audience is on Instagram, then you should probably be on Instagram. So don't think that one social channel is going to be the best one. And so I thought that was interesting. We had a great discussion about that. Another question came up about should I have a profile photograph or not? And there was a great discussion around, okay, is that going to mean that I'm opening up myself to discrimination, either be it age or racial or otherwise in terms of bias? And there was a lot of people that really had to get over the fact that we need to be transparent and honest about who we are and the strength we bring to the table. And if people want to hire us for those strengths, then we're in good shape. And so we kind of went through an interesting discussion about how companies hire people, traditionally speaking. And this is a broad brush. This isn't how every company hires. But we talked about how a company has a need. They engage their HR business partner recruitment function, and they develop a requisition. They advertise the requisition. They accumulate applicants, and they then vet those applications against their requisition as an audit process, come up with a list of candidates and interview and so forth. Okay. And so in that scenario, you really are trying hard to be the right candidate for that requisition so that you get to the interview. And philosophically speaking, it's backwards for a candidate from the candidate's perspective. And the candidate is thinking, okay, I need to change who I am to fit their mold or to fit their expectation. And I said, there might be another strategy that you think about, and that is, let's define who you are first, decide who wants that strength, and go talk to people in the hiring community that would be your future boss. And so those were just two different perspectives that we talked about and had some good dialogue around that. And so there isn't any one right way. I think there's many ways to get to where you want to go. It's just finding the one that works for you and measuring whether or not you're getting closer to or farther away from the type of work that you desire. Okay, so that's it for FAQ Friday. Please go ahead and leave your comments, suggestions, and questions below, and I will actually answer those questions on next FAQ Friday. And before you go, I do have a free gift. It's a networking checklist. Many of us know that we should be networking. However, we're unsure about how to approach it, what steps to take, and how do I know I'm doing it right? And so I've put together something from my own experience through 4 corporate transitions myself that are kind of the key steps that you should check off to make sure that you're taking the right steps to get results. And so go ahead and visit the link down below to my website, andrewbeach.com. Sign up for our mail list, and we'll send you a free copy of the networking checklist. So I thank you, and we'll see you signing off. We'll take care, friends, and we'll see you next FAQ Friday.